So, all right, here we go. Let's roll. So you're talking about as far as.
All right.
You've now tuned in to the Drawing Board Podcast, a powerful, thought provoking discussion where we talk about family, relationships, ministry, community, and career. Let's see what exciting guests we have on our show today. Great evening, Drawing Board Podcast. This is the founder and host, Andre Ebron. And as always, I promise you nothing but the best, nothing but the most exciting and exuberant guests that are out there impacting the world in diverse ways and changing the narrative surrounding family, relationships, community, ministry, and career. And tonight is no different. I have my brother, actually, we're brothers in more than one way, but my brother, Aze. What's going on, man?
What's going on? How you doing? How you doing, bro?
Good. Welcome to the podcast. So the Drawing Board, man, is a powerful, thought-provoking podcast that challenges the listener to examine their life and reimagine the possibilities. And Aze, man, we met some years ago, man, when you bringing your son to Cornerstone in pre-K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that? Almost about 5 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, about 5 years ago.
5, 6 years
Man,
ago.
yeah. And you were doing big things then, continually doing big things now, man. Let the people know a little bit about you in your bio. So it says, prior to Amying, Aze was a consultant of business development for American Express. Previously, Aze was also a consultant of business development for First Data Corporation. In that role, Aze managed business relationships for 13 Huntington Bank Alliance branches within their merchant service division. Aze's professional career lists highlights not only as a successful sales business consultant, but as an entrepreneur. He was the managing partner of an IT data and cloud consulting firm. Aze also spent time with Merrill Lynch, in which he vigorously researched the flow of market trends, municipal funding, and municipal policy related to city, state, and government funding in the progression program for Merrill Lynch advisors. Man, you've done a lot in business development.
Yeah, and I'm currently still involved in business development as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so, just in the corporate world, I focus on the business development side for a French-based company called Amying, which they have a division in the U.S. now where we focus on helping businesses, with their bottom line, basically helping them find money from the resources from their tax credits. So R&D tax credits is like a big thing right now for businesses.
Okay.
It's new for me in terms of, that particular vertical. However, it's one of those things where, anything new to me is just opportunity to learn, right? So something to take in, also to share with others. So, one thing I learned that it's not just something that I could utilize and share with, some of my big target market clients that are 500 million to $1 billion companies, but small businesses could use, R&D tax credits all the time. You know, so, I love it. So, so definitely business development is, still something that I do, just as a whole. Yeah.
Absolutely. So question for you, man. There are so many startups, particularly local to the city of Detroit.
Okay.
There's a lot of, I know there was like a surge for a while of a lot of banks that were looking to provide small business grants, loans, things of that nature. How would someone contact you, or what would you recommend as it relates to R&D for small businesses, and what would they do?
Yeah. Well, first things first, you have to definitely pay taxes. You can't be tax exempt.
Okay.
If you're tax exempt, there's no taxes to claim, right?
Right.
So if you're in business and this thing, the U.S. R&D is pretty broad. Okay. Versus overseas, some of the R&D tax credits is actually. Let me go back. For those that don't understand what R&D is, research and development.
Right.
So research and development. So overseas, you look at research and development more so on the scientific basis.
Okay.
But in the U.S., research and development is so broad it could go as far as, for example, if I have a plant, right, and my plant is developing a new technology, but the janitor, per se, or the cleanup crew is helping to manage the cleanliness of the facility.
Right.
You can actually claim the janitors and the maintenance crew as part of the whole project because they have to keep the place clean in order for the research to be done and handled accordingly. So it's very broad. So there's a lot of opportunities for businesses to claim the R&D tax credit. I mean, it's just so broad. I mean, it's one of those things where if you just have to just sit down with your tax advisor, sit down with your accountant, and really understand what research and development is here in the U.S. It became a permanent law here in 2015. Prior to that, it wasn't necessarily in place. So it's pretty new to the U.S. right now. And you're going to see a lot of folks missing out on a lot of money. It's probably over 30, $40 million not being, actively, I should say received right now from businesses. So they're not taking advantage of it just because of the lack of knowledge.
So would you say this is like a new bubble that is forming as it relates to what's available out there?
I would say, yeah, it is. For those who are not knowledgeable, yes, for sure. But those who have been in the game for a while,
Right.
I mean, no, they're taking advantage of it left to right. I mean, you have folks that's been here who have companies overseas that are very familiar with R&D tax credits. So it's just really about the knowledge.
Okay. Sounds like we need to have like you doing a forum on R&D tax credits for entrepreneurs that are for startups.
Yeah, definitely.
Knowing how to itemize and be able to figure out what is available to write off or to underwrite and take
Exactly.
credit for that. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always give my guests a challenge, right?
Uh-huh.
So I always give my guests a challenge, and so that'll be my challenge. It came very early on. So my challenge for you, and however you set it up, of course, that would be your strategy, but setting it up for startup companies, entrepreneurs, and of course they have to have a certain level of experience to even engage with what's going on. But startups that are getting ready to launch or have launched and are getting their strategy together for you to provide some type of training for them to be able to do that. So, but now beyond your involvement in business development in the corporate, you're a community guy at heart. Like, you love your community.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yeah.
Man, tell me about like where are you from? Where did you get the sense of community? Why is that important to you?
Yeah, definitely. So I was born in Nigeria.
Okay.
I was born in Nigeria. We came here when I was 3 years old. We moved to Lansing, Michigan, because my parents went to school at Michigan State. So we were pretty much, my parents were on student visas.
Yes.
So we grew up when I spent probably from preschool, daycare, whatever it was when you're 3 years old to the fifth grade.
Okay.
Half of my fifth grade year, that's when we actually moved. Like in the middle of my fifth grade year, we moved to Pontiac.
Okay.
So Pontiac is what I claim.
All right.
Pontiac raised me.
So that's yak.
The yak.
Right.
Pontiac raised me, for sure. I mean, so that's my hometown. Again, we're doing that event there.
Absolutely.
A lot of my brothers, close friends, who are still with me to the day. Some have passed away. That's just what happens when you get older, right? Some unfortunately, leave us.
Absolutely.
But that's my hometown right there.
Okay.
Then I moved to Detroit. I went to Michigan State University.
Right.
Played football there. So go Spartan Dogs in every aspect of the way. Let me put that out there real quick.
I felt that energy just come through one time. So now, what years were you playing football down there?
Oh, from 2001 to 2005.
Okay, so listen, short story, right?
Here we go.
Short story. So
Okay.
I went to a small private engineering school, right?
Uh-huh.
But we were up there for it might have been Fake the Funk. Or it might have
Fake
been
the Funk.
Fake
I
the
remember.
Funk. Fake the Funk or Keeping It
I
Real,
remember.
right?
Yeah.
And so we are at the man, I can't think, but it's the after party. So,
the Fake Funk. Okay,
so
definitely.
We're at the after party, right?
Okay.
So the way when I was down there, what I saw Michigan State was set up.
Mm-hmm.
All the football players ran together. You knew who was the track team, like so. Everybody came together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of my homeboys from Tri-State, he's standing there. These two young ladies approach us. He starts dancing with one of the young ladies, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I look to my left,
Yeah.
and man, this guy has to be a good 6'8". I mean, probably like 280, 300 solid, right?
Okay.
And he has this cast on his arm.
Okay.
So you might even,
What year was this again?
This had to be, oh man. I'm thinking this had to be like this had to be 01, 02.
I know. I wish I could shout him out right now. He's on Facebook too. It's funny.
Okay,
I know
all right.
exactly
So
who
listen, he has a cast on his arm,
I know
right?
exactly who it is.
Clearly this guy, man, has some type of anger, and So he's looking at. So I'm like, man, this guy's getting ready to tear somebody up, right? He's getting ready to go after somebody.
Yeah.
And so then I start looking at where his attention is drawn.
Yeah.
And it is headed in our direction.
Uh-huh.
So I realized that he is looking directly at my homeboy, right?
Uh-huh.
So I say, oh man, rule number 1. Don't get caught with this cast. Okay. So I get ready to tell my friend, right? And so I turn to the right to tell him, and I already see him dipping through the crowd.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
He saw him coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm standing there and I'm like,
Okay.
hey, well, listen, this is where it just may have to, this is where it may have to transpire,
Yeah, uh-huh.
So then, but he walks past me, looks, I'm like, I'll make sure. So then, man, he starts following my guy.
Mm-hmm.
We get outside. I see one of my guys has already got the car.
Yeah.
So my dude jumps in the car.
Uh-huh.
But this guy, he drove a Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
I think he drove a Jeep, or he might have been standing on
Okay.
somebody's Jeep.
Okay. Oh,
Man,
yeah,
listen,
that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has the whole community like looking for
man.
one of my guys because I guess that may have been a young lady he was dating or
Okay.
something.
Okay.
She chose to make him jealous,
Uh-huh.
and that is my fake the funk
Experience, right?
Experience, right?
Okay.
Now it was interesting because I'm watching how the whole community actually like rallied behind this guy.
Yeah.
And so then I found out that he was actually from Detroit,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
right? And I won't, yeah.
Well, I think I know who you're talking about. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was 2001. If it's the person I'm thinking about, we're not gonna name any names, but he's
Right.
actually from Lansing.
Oh, from Lansing.
That's probably why he had his whole crew there. He's actually
Man,
from Lansing.
right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
actually from Lansing. I know exactly who you're talking about.
And listen,
Yeah.
when I say the whole community, I'm not talking about like 10 people. I'm
yeah.
talking about 75 to 100 people.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, are looking.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And man,
That's
so
funny.
that was my experience, man. But we went down and some of my guys transferred to
Okay.
Michigan State. So
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not a Spartan. Got a lot of love for Michigan schools, but definitely that go green, go white. You guys go hard.
Yeah, so we have this thing where, we're called the Spartan Dogs,
Okay.
right? I mean, I kind of don't like claiming that considering, I'm an alpha man of, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Absolutely.
So
06 to the good brothers.
06, man,
Yes, sir.
so, but, I have to claim the dogs, only the Spartan Dogs.
The Spartan
The
Dogs.
Spartan Dogs, yeah. So we have like our own fraternity,
Okay.
per se. It's not just football players, but, the basketball team, track team, wrestling team, football team. So, it's been around for a while, actually. I don't want to, misquote when we actually created that term, I
Right.
should say. But to the point where we have our own handshake, like the bros do, like the
Okay.
alphas do. Like we have our own secret handshake, and everybody knows it.
Right.
And if you don't know, you probably came on for a minute. And you probably didn't really have that much impact on the team. But you're not gonna learn the handshake unless somebody really pretty much.
Unless you're vetted, right?
Unless they give you the go. Okay, I'm gonna teach you the handshake.
Right.
Yeah, and I got to learn the handshake. So because this is my thing, right? A lot of us, really look back at our careers, football careers, and say, what we could have done better,
Okay.
right? And I would say that for me, I got everything from Michigan State that I wanted to get because, just kicking them with my teammates now, and while we're so close, I mean, I love those guys to death. I mean, these are like my brothers, right?
Right.
We just lost Charles Rogers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And he was a guy that, had some issues, through his career, ups and downs. But, we looked at him as just Charles, right?
Right.
Just Chuck. Everybody else looked at him as, this great player, who might have been a bust, but we don't look at each other like that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we all know where we came from. We all know what we went through to even come close to achieving our dreams. So we never looked down upon one another. He never looked down on us. Only the guys that end up playing, having longer careers, always come back and just completely humble. So, just looking back at just everything, I just really, understand why our bond is the way it is. That's probably why you got 75 to 100 folks, looking for your boy because, we don't play with each other. We have each other's back. The Alumni Association does a really good job with keeping us together. You know, the Alumni Association does a really good job in making sure they give us 3-4 tickets per game to make sure we're coming back, bumping into one another, and catching up. You know, in each other's lives. You know, seeing maybe this person might be an engineer somewhere, this person might be a plant manager, and you might come together. Next, you know, you find one of your brothers a job. You know,
Absolutely.
your mother's jobs. You know, for me, you know, I was very blessed to be able to, you know, play Michigan State. I started off at Fair State
Okay.
University. Started at Fair State University. You know, that's where I pledged and became a member of Alpha Alpha. But for me, it was hard to leave because my frat brothers were there. You know, that was my home. But I knew for my football career, I wanted to, you know, challenge myself
Right.
and be at the highest playing level possible. So, because I didn't start playing football till my senior year of high school.
Oh man. So now, no,
Yeah, I didn't start playing football till senior high school. I was in band,
you were in band. So
uh,
what's your instrument?
tenor saxophone and trumpet.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
tenor and trumpet. Yeah,
So
and you
so
know,
what led you to that? Like that's a transition. That's a huge transition from band camp to 3-a-days.
well, quite honestly,
Uh,
I would say it was destiny. It was divine.
okay.
Because I wouldn't have never quit band if we didn't have a riot at
Okay.
the school. And our band director, unfortunately, you know, he was let go. So we didn't have a band program. So here I go my junior year, trying to figure out what I'm going to do in my life, you know, right? I had a little bit of hoop skills because, you know, we hooped around, you know, the neighborhood, you know,
Right.
here in Pontiac. Football skills were terrible because I was smaller. I was skinny. I was a skinny guy.
Yeah.
I remember the first day I even tried to walk out, you know, try out for the team. I tackled a guy, and I tackled him. My whole body just broke. I said, "No, I'm straight on this. I'm good.
Right.
I'm good on this."
Right.
So I just played basketball, tried to run track. I wasn't good at track even. So it wasn't until, you know, my senior year and I really looked at myself, saying, "No, what am I gonna do with myself?"
Hmm.
I think that was the first time I experienced depression.
Okay.
The first time I experienced depression. I mean, I didn't know what to do. I mean, you know, to the point where I said, you know, I'm just going to go to the army, you know. And it's not a knockdown to anybody that's going to the military, but you don't go to the military because it's your last option. You
Right.
do it because you actually
You have a desire
you have a
to.
desire to do it,
Absolutely.
right? And I was just going to do it just because I didn't know what I was going to do. So, fortunately, I just said, you know, let me just get my stuff together. There's a guy by the name of a famous lion by the name of Jimmy Williams, played with Barry,
Okay.
um, and he ended up getting a coaching job at my school and substitute teaching for a minute, you know. And I really got close to him.
Right.
He became like a father figure to me. You know, my father was there, but we weren't close. We
Right.
weren't close at all. You know, became like a father figure to me. You know, I kicked it with him a lot. He really gave me the courage to try for the team. And you know, he's a hard nosed guy. He didn't care. We were best friends, and he was somebody that he just really thought was a cool kid. I mean, if you didn't go hard out there and you didn't think you could play, you didn't have the guts, you weren't going to play. So, you know, I laid it out there.
Right.
And it was the first time where somebody said good job to me in terms of sports. And that gave me the confidence. It was something within me that I didn't know I had. I didn't know. I was athletic. You know, all I did was spent one summer with a friend of mine named Ryan Carruthers. And, you know, he trained and he kicked my butt, you know, going to my senior year. And next thing you know, a new me came out. I didn't know I was athletic like that. So I ended up getting picked up, getting offered to Ferris State University. From Ferris State, I said I wanted more. Walked on to Michigan State, ended up, you know, being a varsity winner, led a win at Michigan State, and playing actually, you know, was second string, unfortunately. But I, you know, was in the mix. I actually got on the roster. I traveled. You know, I got as much playing time as I deserved, but I was highly recognized as, you know, a dominant pass rusher, I should say, you know, especially coming from where I came from. So the value behind me being in Michigan State wasn't just my friends being there and guys I got cool with. Is I worked so hard to be there, you
Right.
know, from where I came from. It's crazy. Now, I haven't told any of my teammates this, and one day I will. But I remember whoever may listen to this right now is on the squad. But all those guys I played with, I used to play with them on NCAA. When I was at Fairs, I
Right.
picked Michigan State. Like I'll see like number 25. I still remember Jason Harmon, number 97, Kyle Rasmussen. I used to look at all those guys. Like TJ Duck at the time was there too. So that whole roster, those were like superstars to me. Like those were like my heroes.
Right.
and and to be able to play with them,
And then they became your brothers.
they became my brothers. You know,
Right.
so it was like surreal. I mean, that whole moment was living like in a dream for me, right? To the point where I remember going into my senior year, I got called in by my head coach, and my head coach said, he talks like easy, Jonathan's like easy, hey,
Right.
love you, but you got to go. I'm like, what did I do? He says, not me. You're short 21 credits. No, sorry, 32 credits.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, 32 credits.
Yeah.
In
Absolutely.
the summer.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
But looking back, I know how I did it though, because I wanted it. I didn't want to transfer. He said, you could transfer, go to D1AA, you're fine. But because you transferred, when you changed your major, your core credits didn't go towards, didn't follow me exactly.
Absolutely.
And we were unaware of that, right? So, it put me in a position to say, you know what, let me transfer or am I going to stick it out? So, long story short, I did it. I
32 credits in the summer.
32 credits in the summer. I did it. And I did not miss a single party. I didn't miss a single party.
Right.
I didn't miss a single practice.
Right.
I enjoyed that summer because I wanted it. It was nothing for me. So I took that mentality with anything I do. People think to the point where, why are you so persistent at these 3 goals for the past 8 to 10 years? Because that's the only way to get it. That has really been the only method of my success. I mean, you don't know what your formula is until you've done it before, right?
Right.
I know what I wanted to do to play at Michigan State. I know what I wanted to do to graduate from college and do something with my life and get a degree. I knew what needed to be done to be able to be eligible to play my senior year. And 32 credits in the semester is almost impossible. But that's why I say almost impossible. It sounds impossible, but I did it.
But you did it because you wanted it.
Because I wanted it.
So now, listening to that story though, what I loved about it was the power of one relationship.
Yeah.
Changed the whole trajectory and focused.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it took one person who was close enough to you to nurture the potential, but objective enough to make you want to work hard to achieve the goal. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
So when I'm thinking about like teachers, or I'm thinking about people who work in social services and people who may be facing certain challenges, a lot of times when they come in to help, it is not a help that provokes a better performance, but it's sometimes a help that provokes a dependency, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. And for you, like, man, it just, like, all of those skills are transferable, right? And so relationships that you have with your brothers from Ferris, from AFI, from your relationship with your brothers that you have from Michigan State, from the football team, the opportunities that you had to travel, like, all of that began junior, senior year, because someone who had been and played at the top level saw something in you, and then challenged you to work hard to grow forward.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, like, everything that you shared, that whole continuum of success you saw, your persistence now, like, literally the power of one relationship of someone who has been successful, because, success leaves clues, right?
Yeah.
But this is my challenge to all of the leaders that are out there listening. You hear the story, but that relationship, the relationship that you're forming with young people out there, the relationships that you're forming with the youth of Metro Detroit and across the world, like, your relationship with them has to provoke a greater level of performance, a hunger in them, right? Not enable them just to empathize with what they may be experiencing in their story, but provoke their potential to the point of performance.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, man, listen. You got the handshake, from the Spark Dogs.
Got the handshake,
and now, man, listen, you are involved in several civic organizations, community organizations. Let me just name a few. So you are involved in Michigan State Football Alumni Association, National Professional Football Association, NAACP Young Adult Committee, Institute of Black Male Achievement. Oh, yeah, Rumble, Young Man Rumble. All right? Detroit chapter member of the New Leaders Council. Oh, okay. So DK, DK?
Yeah. I was a charter member, actually.
I was
a
good
charter
stuff.
member.
Yeah, a charter member. Okay, we got to talk. And then, of course, man, that old gold and black 06 Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. 06. Who you with?
H5.
Yes, sir. Charles H. Wright. of Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, and was an award recipient of the Michigan Front Page 40 Under 40. You're a young guy. You know,
Hey,
yeah.
I think 37 is young. I'll say that.
Oh man, it has to be because that's the same age I am.
I know, right?
Right. So listen, man.
Right? Yeah.
You have some events coming up. You're doing some good things in the community. Talk to me about what's going on.
Yeah. So let's take a step back, right?
Okay.
How much time I got, right?
Oh, we here for about another half
An
hour.
hour,
But
okay.
yeah. But
All right,
listen though, remember you always have an open invitation.
Oh yeah,
to
definitely.
Come back.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I would say this, right? I am doing a lot in the community right now. I have done a lot in the community right now. I mean, I have done a lot in the community in the past. A lot in the community in the past. It's right now just really focusing on, what is important to me
Okay.
versus what everybody else is doing, which in a sense, I see what people are doing now, right? People aren't necessarily involved in community initiatives because they want to be. They're doing it because it's almost like a trend, right?
Okay.
You get the acknowledgement behind it. You get the social media views behind it and those type of things. It is very rare that nowadays I see folks that are sticking with something and it's year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, whatever, right?
Right.
And I would say I in my early years I might have been guilty of that as well. Just following the trend, really trying to establish myself in a particular circle, right?
Right.
And I think we've all been guilty in that until you actually realize and say, you know what, how's this really impacting the community, right? How's this really something that I could grow and grow a team to help this initiative grow, right?
Right.
So, we've done a lot, with feeding the homeless. We've done a lot with, mentorship sessions and things of that nature. But as you see now with, I'm just going to say it, My Brother's Keeper, programs like that, they're not as big as they should.
Right. I agree.
They're not as big as they should. And that's because the hype is there, but there's not a lot of footwork.
Right.
There's not a lot of footwork. It's not a lot of footwork. And, we need more foot soldiers out here instead of people that are just talking. I think if people focused on finding something that they want to put their fat passion and focus on and growing that's going to be a lot better than jumping for left to right, taking a picture with a box in their hand.
Absolutely.
Taking a picture with, unfortunately, I don't understand why people do this. They're feeding the homeless, take a picture with the guy who's homeless, or take a picture with the homeless young lady and kid and posting it on their social media. That's embarrassing.
It is.
It's embarrassing.
Right.
You shouldn't do that, because you shouldn't be doing those type of things for, fame or acknowledgement, right? A lot of things I do now, I keep it low key.
Right.
I keep it low key because I'm not here for recognition. I'm not doing what I love to do to be acknowledged or to be, given a pass by somebody. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. So, everything that I do, has a purpose. I like to help where I can. I do my research on who's doing what because, again, I don't want to be involved in somebody else's PR.
Right.
I
understand.
So, what I see now is I see a lot of folks creating their own PR campaign through community service.
And this is a reality.
Yeah.
Because really it's a model that's been set out there though.
Yeah.
So when you talk about creating yourself as a balanced, let's just say high performance professional,
Yeah.
like philanthropy and community service is a portion of that, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of conversation about what should be happening. A lot of people volunteering in areas where they don't necessarily have the expertise.
Yeah.
A lot of people are showing up for the pics and all those types of things
Yeah.
like that. And on one hand, it's good to get people involved.
Yeah.
But then your motive is what has to. I hear you saying. Your motive is what has to be pure, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with you taking the picture if you and this homeless person or person that is currently without shelter,
Yeah.
you taking a picture with them to bring more awareness to homelessness. Watch this. But then after that pic, making a commitment to that community or person you serve
Uh-huh.
once the cameras are gone to ensure that they no longer remain homeless, right?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I was having this conversation with some other community leaders, and we were talking about some nonprofits that exist, not naming any names or anything like that. But if you have like a whatever it is that your particular nonprofit or for-profit is servicing, so like if you have a nonprofit that's solely based upon serving the homeless, right? There's some kind of contingency within your plan that's still going to keep homelessness existing because a lot of your funding is going to be based upon there being homeless people, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, when you get into the minutia of, who's receiving funding and how long they've been receiving, all of those things, right? And what you said in the beginning is, what is the impact? What is the end results, right?
Yeah.
We have sat down and philosophized and talked about how systemic this injustice or all we have had the conversations, right? But now it is about somebody forming the commitment, such as you and your team. Now this is the 8th year, right?
8th year, yeah.
And I think that it was necessary though, right? So like going through the process of following whatever model was there to say, hey, this is what you must do in order to be a part of this social circle.
Yeah.
And literally, like there's an entire script. I remember cutting my teeth when I first moved to the city at 21, and I was in a meeting with some established professionals, some professionals and someone asked me a question about did I know somebody. And one of the more established professionals was like, "Oh, he could not know who that was, right?" And so my question at that point was, okay, so if I knew them, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
And the fact that I don't know them, then you've already drawn a line of judgment as it relates to where you should engage in relationship with. And at the end of the day, everyone who has the potential to impact another person's life is an extremely important person.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, quite honestly, you take one person's life and you impact them in a positive manner. The snowball effect, you may not be there to see it, but it's there.
Yes, sir.
It's there. Snowball effect is there. Impact one person's life, the snowball effect is there. I'm a living witness.
Yes, sir.
I'm definitely a living witness of that. And, for me, I look at what people are doing, and I just pray that they have good intentions. They pray got good intentions. They also see some that are picture takers. That's all they do, picture takers, but nothing else. You say, hey, can you be more involved in X, Y, and Z? Can you come to this meeting because I'm doing X, Y, and Z to follow up on ABC? No response.
Oh, absolutely.
No response, right?
Here's the question that I would have for you is that, like, even those people that's their thing, right?
Yeah.
They still bring a certain level of something, right?
Yeah.
And what I have found is, or I guess I would pitch the question is, everybody contributes on their level of commitment, right? And so if I know that you're surfacing and your commitment is an 8-ounce glass, and my commitment is a 100-gallon bucket, I'm not going to disparage your 8-ounce glass. I'm going to tell you to bring that 8-ounce glass and pour it in this 100-gallon bucket.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we're going to keep moving.
Definitely,
right?
definitely. So for example, the event that we have now, you're absolutely right with that because the reason why we're so strong is because, for one, our core team.
Okay.
We found a group. First of all, myself and 2 other bros.
Yes.
Started this, and we put it together in 2 weeks. Our first
wow.
event.
The inaugural event was put together in 14 days?
Yeah. So
okay.
We just say, you know what? Let's make it happen. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Literally, we sat at the table and said, you know what? Let's do something for the holidays. Try something different. We started off, we made over 700 lunches, and we adopted, at that time, 8 families.
Okay.
And we were like, that was a breeze. Let's do more. Right. Next year, we went to 1,500. We was like, oh, man, that was a breeze. So I said, let's do it. Let's do it bigger. So now we're average about 25 to 30 families. We adopt for the holidays, and we're doing 3,000 lunches. Usually do more,
right?
Because we always have so much left over. But the reason why we've been able to sustain so long, and the reason why we've been able to, grow the way we have grown, is because those who are committed have brought their 8-ounce.
Yes,
and they have poured it in our 100-gallon bucket, and that's the only reason why we're able to grow. So, my statement earlier wasn't to deter anybody from volunteering. It was just to put it out there that as long as there's a pure commitment and there's no motives behind it, you're going to be rewarded because you're going to see the growth of our organization, our core team, and what we do to the community because of your 8 ounce. You're going to be able to see it grow. So there's always reward behind every true effort that you put together. But if you don't care, if you're just there for pictures, you're not going to see it grow because you don't care. You're not looking at it.
Right.
You're not looking at it.
Here's the thing. So, in Scripture, the Word of God, it talks about don't give to be seen by men.
Yeah.
And it says that if you are giving to be seen by men, that's your reward.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you are giving with a pure intent to extend, God's work and to bless people, then here's the difference though. Then He promises to be your exceeding great reward,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the contrast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that if you're given to be men pleasing or what have you, to be seen and all of that, okay, cool, that's good. Well, that's your reward. You got that. You got the IG likes, you got the heart. Okay, cool, I'm with that. But if you're given because you understand that every life on earth is interrelated in some way, like connected in some way, impacted in some way. So I'm sitting here thinking about like your football coach, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the 8th year that you guys had done the program.
Yeah.
And had he not taken the time to invest in you and inspire you, motivate you, hold you accountable, cause you to work hard, like think about all of the people now let's just use your community service with this one event. Okay. All right. And those 700 in the inaugural event, those 700 lunches wouldn't have gone out. Yeah. The next year, those 1,500 would not have gone out. The year after that, 3,000. So we're talking, man, listen, let's just say 5,000 men, not to mention the women and children, right?
Exactly,
So, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, man, like the power of impacting, like it only takes one,
yeah.
right? So now, man, you guys sold 3 bros, you all sat down, strategized, and then made a commitment to do something.
Yeah.
And everybody bringing their 8 ounces, pouring it in, impacting lives. So this year, man, the 8th year, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're going to go ahead and get, real script. 8 is the number of new beginning, right? Yeah. So
our goal. So I would say we have expanded. Now we're in Genesee County as well.
Right.
But first we focused around Oakland County, Wayne County, Macomb County. So we added our 4th county, which is huge. So now we have some brothers up in Flint that's going to be helping us grow as well. So our goal is to pretty much get us into as many counties as we can for the holidays. So, I mean, we want to adopt 50 families hopefully within the next 2 years.
So how do we get involved? Like, what is your contact information? What is the event called? Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Come on in. So listen, I told you we had a special guest coming on the show. One of AJ's brothers who's also involved in this community giveaway. It is important during this holiday season. I know you all are looking for avenues to be a blessing to others. We've always made declarative statements that we are blessed to be a blessing. Well, how do you demonstrate that? You demonstrate that to your commitment of serving others, whether it's through your time, whether it's through your talents, whether it's through your treasures. It is all about your ability to give. Well, in the earth, it says, the word of God says, as long as the earth shall remain, both summer and winter, cold and hot, watch this, seed time and harvest shall also remain. So my invitation to you is to support AJ and his brothers. And here we go. Drum roll, please. Brrr, special guest in the building. Come on in, sir. You got it, man. We Facebook Live, IG Live, and we in the building, man. I'm glad you're here. Come on in. You can have a seat right over here.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, yeah. Not a problem. So we have it streaming to yours now, and then, we can go ahead and we'll share it that way. So feel free to have a seat over here.
Over that side over
Yeah, man. So the Drawing Board is a powerful, thought-provoking podcast that challenges the listener to examine their life and reimagine the possibilities. Okay. We've been able to talk about how one person can impact and change the lives of others, never understanding and knowing that that person will go on and impact countless lives, right? So then that brings up the idea of legacy, but we realize that this has to go beyond conversation, beyond just mere participation, but a level of commitment that will bring sustainable change. Yes. So year after year after year, you all have had this pay it forward movement. You're in 4 counties now, right?
Yes.
4 counties
which is a blessing.
now. Yes, sir.
It's absolutely a blessing.
And now we are here with my brother, another ice cold brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Put your hands together and receive Brother Kano Phillips.
Really appreciate that, brother. Really
Yes, sir.
appreciate the welcome.
Absolutely.
Give me some of that good
Yes,
stuff.
sir. All right.
Yeah, only a few people know about that, those frozen ones. So,
Yes, sir. Absolutely. The chosen frozen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So,
Yep.
man, welcome. Aze was just telling me about this is you all's 8th year.
Yes.
So
yes, it is.
expand more on that. He said first year, bros got together and you all were able to pass out 700 lunches. And so talk to me about the progression, man. And I know you have a foundation that honors your father.
Yes, sir.
But talk to me about it, man. I can clearly tell, man, that the Lord is working with you and working through you. So tell me about it.
Well, as far as the mission to feed 3,000 is concerned, originally started out with 750, and he started out with just 3 brothers, of course, alphas.
Yes, sir.
Who wanted
Right.
to go ahead and do something significant to kind of give back. It's all right to go. Anyone who wants to go ahead and give back to the community, whichever way they feel that, the vehicle they want to use, we appreciate that. But
Yes,
we
sir.
wanted to go ahead and just have something that was really going to hit big. And so we were looking for numbers.
Right.
And so, and what better place to go ahead and start when you start talking about our homeless community? There's
That's it.
so many people out there that are just fighting and struggling. Just, they've been dealt a bad hand, or maybe certain conditions may have swung around on them and just didn't go. It wasn't favorable. So it was our job to go ahead and try and create something to go ahead and touch them and let people know that they're being thought of, and they're not being forgotten for sure.
Right.
But also, too, to try and provide some type of hope because, not only the meal is one side of it, but there's a lot of different, we give you a bunch of different supplies to go with that, but even beyond that, there are messages that actually go with these packages, which is kind of brought together by the kids.
Right.
And truth be told, I think Azek can attest to this, they open up those bags. You think the meals is something nice and beautiful, but once they go ahead and see those messages coming from the heart from a kid, letting you know that, you love someone thinking about you, you're not by yourself. And I mean, that's when the breakdown comes.
Yes.
You watching a bunch of grown men and women, men, we got this ego thing about us. We macho. We don't
Right.
want to go ahead and let our emotions.
Who's cutting these onions? In,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, a lot of onions cut on me on a regular
Right,
basis.
right.
there,
Yes,
but-
sir. Yes, sir.
But ultimately, that's what it's about. Trying to go ahead and touch a life because, how would it be for us? I mean, none of us like we starving in this room, but for us to be able to go home every day, got food in the refrigerator, got heat, got a shelter.
That's right.
And for us to go ahead and be real comfortable in that dynamic, and then we have people out here that are absolutely struggling. We have the means to go ahead and try and help and create some type of solution for them, and we understand it's only for a day or two, that we're looking to go and give them something for. But if there was more people looking to go ahead and do a day or two along the way, I mean, a lot of ground is going to get covered.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And here's the principle that I feel that you all are exercising. So you got, of course, for me, everything goes back scripturally or to faith, right?
Yes.
And so you got the children of Israel, right? Mm-hmm. And it says that each man, when they were in the wilderness, began to take manna according to his own house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
sir.
so then you see them traveling, and because the strong had to bear the infirmity of the weak, there was no there was no one going without. There was a responsibility of those that are widowed or those that were orphaned that the community would begin to support them, right?
Yeah.
And so this is where we take our much and give to those that have little.
Yes, sir.
And that is the balance of that. I love what you
Yes,
guys are
sir.
doing. And I was telling him, I said, man, you all were able to take on, 5,000 men, not to mention what the women and children, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
here's my challenge to everybody listening on. As we have a few minutes and we're not closing yet, but as we near our close, I want you guys, where can I send them? Aze, where can I send them, Kano?
Okay, the event is taking place on, we live? Yeah, the face, AZ always got something going good.
Right.
Well, yeah, what we're doing is this Sunday over in
Sun-
Pontiac, Michigan, 52 Bagley Street. It's called the Bowen Center.
Yes.
Please, at 11 o'clock, we welcome you to bring not only yourself, bring your children too. Come on out. It's really something amazing to see too. I mean, you're looking at 350 people that come into that building every year. I'm talking about from all kinds of destinations. You got people driving up from Ohio and Indiana just to go ahead and try and provide a blessing. And that's the power of social media.
It is.
Social media is just one, a couple keystrokes and hit send or enter.
That's
and
right.
next thing you know, everyone knows. But they come into this building and you ought to see it, man. All types of racial demographics that we have in place, and everyone come together for a common cause, putting together those 3,000 packaged meals to go ahead and have it distributed out to all those shelters. I mean, it is really a beautiful thing to see. And we love to have anybody who wants to go ahead and come. And if you have children, because, that's a myth that we always kind of deal with every year. Isn't that right, Zach? Where we always find ourselves where people just want to go ahead and they think that it's not a place for kids. Absolutely, it's a place for kids. Bring your children out because we got to go ahead and start putting some cycles in place to go ahead and start showing, not by talking about it, but let them see firsthand what the blessing looks like, or to give a blessing, or to be a blessing. So it's beautiful. So please, have anybody want to come up, please come on up. 52 Bagley Street, Bowen Center up in Pontiac, Michigan, and get ready to roll up your sleeves and let's get it in.
Absolutely. So you heard it here. Make sure that you don't just tune in, but show up. So you guys average 350 to 400 volunteers that come every single year?
It's amazing.
Oh, it is.
I've never seen that like it before in my life. And think about it. When we started out, I think we started out, how many, what you say we had in there, baby? 150?
150 volunteers, and our goal was like 700 lunches.
Yeah.
So I was telling him how we did it, and we was like, that was a breeze. Let's go more.
Yeah.
Next year we did what, 1,000 or 1,500. We was like, that was easy. So when we started getting to 3,000, we was like, okay.
Yeah. That's what we're gonna go put at the count. But now because we've extended into Genesee County with our new push, now next year we might have to examine adding some more to the equation, which is a beautiful thing. Because if we're gonna add for something, let's add for that need.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the theme of pay it forward, break it down for me. Now I have my idea of what that means, but what does it mean in the context of this particular event?
Well, paying it forward is basically what it was. Is we decided to go ahead and put a full wraparound degree of programs in place to go ahead and kind of help a multitude of people. So we put 5 initiatives, which is one, we adopted 4 homeless shelters.
Okay.
Kind of give them a multitude of some of the supplies they would need, food, sanitary items, some of the essentials that their homeless population would want to go ahead and gloves, hats, scarves, because for the ones, because we already know homeless shelters, they have caps. Right. Yeah, only a certain amount of people they can take, and the rest of them are going to have to go out into the street, unfortunately. So we got that. Then we adopt a daycare center. And what we do is we go right into the hood and find a daycare center that's taking on the chin right now because, daycare is really expensive.
It is.
And we know that a lot of these people can't afford, daycare services, but these places are still taking these families on no matter what, and still giving them the same high degree of service that any kid that come up in there is paying all their money will receive. So we want to go and look out for them.
Right.
And then we got then we also got our family adoptions.
Okay.
We we adopted 46 families, but unfortunately,
my numbers were low. Sorry, 46. Ooh.
Yeah, 46. Oh no, but we just went up another 5 because after we had finished our list of adoptions, it was 5 cases that came through to us.
Okay.
And it was like it was some of the cases we just couldn't let go. I mean, we had to go in trying. We couldn't sit back and do nothing, so we expanded. So we got 51 families this year.
Excellent.
And then you got that mission to feed 3,000, which we've been talking about, bringing all those people in to put together those meals to go and have distributed to every homeless shelter in Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb County, and now Genesee. And then what I missing is that was 4 of them with the 5th one. We adopted elementary school. Yeah, we usually do that in Pontiac because I don't know if you know, or a lot of people may or may not know, Pontiac is going through a lot of a lot of struggle. We just got them fighting through a consent agreement where the state was looking to come in and pulling a Benton Harbor on us.
Right.
Yeah, pulling Benton Harbor, Highland Park. They were looking to go and take it, and Inkster, which is a little bit more closer to us too. Highland Park right down the road.
Right.
But so we were able to kind of fight that off. But realistically, we have kids and families that just have absolutely nothing. So we go to these schools that are kind of jammed up in some of these. Socioeconomically, we challenge. But we come to like the lowest point that you can find in the city. Go to that elementary school, and we go ahead and fill up their closet, give them clothes, different multitude of boots. All these kids are coming, man, with shoes, man, with holes all in them. And this
Absolutely. No coats, only hoodies.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We are not out of message, but we are out of time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so the 5-prong program that you all have going this Sunday, give them the specs again where they can meet you.
52 Bagley Street. Listen, it's the Bowen Center, and it's right off downtown Pontiac, so you can't miss it. But if you have time, please, if you want to give a blessing back, come on down there. Bottom line is we about to go and touch some lives this Sunday. And, and all we need is about 3 hours of your time, and 3,000 people will be touched.
Oh, yeah.
So we can't beat that. What you say about that, Zay?
Okay,
We about to do it 8 years, brother. 8 years. We about to go ahead and make this happen, and this is beautiful.
Absolutely.
And God be willing, we'll be able to do it another 8 more and beyond.
Absolutely. So listen, this is the Drawing Board Podcast, where I let you know that your future, it is not behind you, it is not before you, it is within you. I'm Andre Ebron. I'd like to thank you brothers for coming out. Of course,
Thank you very much.
I'm with my bruh. So listen, gotta have you guys come out again.
Yes, sir.
I would love to do a follow-up show to talk about, the impact. I know you guys will be able to share more because whenever you get a chance to go out and impact lives, man, your life is the life that ends up being impacted.
Yeah.
I conclude with this, and I know Kate is looking at me like, put a wrap on it, Andre. But I'll share anytime that I have singly given to a gentleman or a lady that is vagrant on the street. And I'm going to share more about this on my post. So I'm doing this thing called Miracle Mondays where I'm sharing about miracles. Every time that I've given, and I give food, God has sent a prophetic word through that person. Every single time.
That's powerful.
That has hit me right at that moment when I needed it.
That's powerful.
And so, listen, we'll talk more about that. Tune in the next time. God bless you all.